tight.
For a limited time, if you buy a Nintendo Gamecube for $99.99, you'll get a bonus disc with 4 classic Zelda games free.
And we know Flipper lives in a world full of wonder, lying there under the sea.
Alright, Rachel Schaefer back at you again. I'm sick still because I'm filming this right after, but I'm skipping the Flippy Drive for now. You hopefully won't know that by the original video because the Flippy Drive video will hopefully be out first. But if it's not, that's the reason why. And that's because this came in and it was missing a latch. And it needs the latch to function, and despite my best efforts trying to get it to function without that damn latch, it just doesn't work. I get it, it's a beta, it's still frustrating nonetheless. But anyway, we move on with the Flipper project, with hopefully with a replacement board on the way now. He's only got Rev 5, so we're gonna have to deal with that, but that's fine. Honestly, the way I'm feeling right now after spending over 2 hours with that fucking thing, I just want it done and I want it over with. So, but anyway, so we're going to be adding a couple things to the GameCube in the meantime or whatever. And this is the BlueRetro V2 from Laserbear. And that's going to replace the front over there. Comes with a few wires as well. There we go. It comes with 2 power cables, I think, so you could route the power. It's been a while since I put this in, so. And this is the Wi-Fi antenna. This will stick inside the plastic. And obviously the BlueRetro board. And here it is. It takes the place of the GameCube ports over here. So hopefully you can see the difference. So this will go in the same exact positions, even got its own screws. And the LED is like a color changing one. You got your install guide here, so if you want to snap a picture. And it installs the same way this one does, and it also has the reset, which is multifaceted because I believe depending on how you press this down, it actually could, how do I explain it? That's how you could do the device with adding controllers and things. So you got your ports here. Here's one for the fan, one for the power. Your Wi-Fi, so you could do the over-the-air, and your grounding plates for these right here. So we're going to try to install this right now. And the first thing we need to do is to remove this. Now be careful with it. And just like that, it's out. Good thing too, because it was starting to screw up with that. With the pin right there. So we're gonna take the old one off. Now screws are gonna be tight on this one. I loosened it up a little bit, but it's still a little bit tight. And looking at the BlueRetro, you have to reuse these screws, so it's a good thing that we're keeping them. And here's the old board. And the new board's about to go in. And it's sort of like a guide, I believe. Yeah. So it's snapped in. And this is how it is. It's a little taller, but that should be fine. I've done one of these before, just not in a long time. This one screws easier to get in. All right. Here's the BlueRetro board. in the front shell. I'm also going to see if I can connect the Wi-Fi. So I think I got it. I just gotta put this in here. And that was easy enough to do. Check the fit, it's fitting great. Now we need to take these off. And try to figure out where the wires go. All right, so we have our board installed here. Now I'm going to show you the connections because it comes with 2 wires. And I know some of you all be going, where the hell do I put the wires? Well, the shorter wire here goes into this thing here. Let me see if I can take it out and put it in so I can show you. Right here is the plug. And it's a little bit of a tight fit, but it clicks in. This is actually going to go into the power over here where you normally put the power plug. I don't know if it can show up right here, but this is where it's going to go. And then you take this extender, and that's the piece with the big open space on it. You plug it into here, and you take your existing power cord, which is right there, and you plug it in like that. And we're gonna want to tuck this cord for wire management purposes. Now, since I put the aftermarket fan in as well, and it's actually better to get the Laserbear fan because the way the Laserbear fan is mounted, it comes out the side here. It doesn't come out the other end. So it makes a better connection to the fan, which is right here. One second. Because it's a tight fit, so I want to make sure I don't break nothing. Because it can be a little bit of a challenge to work with. And the best thing to do is just take your time, let it happen. Ah, brother. And there you go, like that. Because you just need to take your time on this. It's relatively easy to do. Like I said, just got to take your time. Now, I'm going to tuck this bottom part. And you can do that, just it takes a little patience. Make sure that clicks. And then we can connect our power up to that, so it's going to get power. So now, instead of the power being connected to here, it's going to be connected to the BlueRetro, because with the reset, with the ability to reset, with the LEDs that are on here, you know, in the controller ports and up top, it needs to have its own power circuit, and it does. And by the way, this also replaces the reset circuit, which is right here. So now that everything's connected, we're going to try to manage these wires. And the best way I figured to do that is to tuck it over under here. It's a tight fit, but you want to try to tuck this connector on the side of the disk drive, like so. And then just fold these down, especially if you're using an ODE. As long as everything's folded down, you should be good to go. Because I'm shooting this after I got the Flippy installed, this portion of the video, because it's been all over the place, which I will explain in the Flippy Drive video. But as long as everything's tucked away and connected, we should be good. And it's not going to block the fan, because I don't know if you can see it, but the fan has a shroud on the back here. So as long as you put them like near the shroud and away from the lasers right here, so it's not going to affect the mechanism, you should be good to go. And make sure that this is tucked in. You want to definitely make sure of that. Make sure that the wires are tucked in properly. Make sure the fan has blades out because it's pulling out the air. And by the way, the reason it's got this port is because this fan mount from Laserbear also supports Pico Boot, but we're not using Pico, we're using Flippy Drive. So we don't need to worry about that. So now that we got our wires managed, we're going to take this port, put it back, and make sure you can actually close this port correctly, because when you put the lid on, and that's why I say tucking it is key, because when you put the lid on, you don't want to have to deal with having to put, now putting the lid on might be a tough fit, but it clicks into place. And don't worry if it's up a little bit, because when you tighten it up and you tuck it in real nice, when everything's nice and buttoned up, it's going to fit just fine. All right, so now we're going to try to update our BlueRetro board. And to do that, we go to blueretro.io/ota.html. Now we're going to try to connect to our BlueRetro. It has to find the device. And if you're in another room, this might be a little bit of a pain in the butt. And found the device. So we're going to go to pair. And it's going to take a little bit. Especially if, like I said, if it's in another room. And you see we're currently at 1.9.2. And remember, you need hardware too. That's important. So we're going to download the new firmware. Download now. Just take me to the downloads. And we're going to go all the way down here to HW2. I already have it installed, but still. Just to show you that it's working out, we're going to go back and we're going to have to connect again. Which I wish they would have the link on the page itself before you have to link up to the BlueRetro, so this way you have it ready. And we're going to pair to it. And this is in real time, by the way. And that's something that you could see every now and again, couldn't connect to BlueRetro. It's, like I said, especially if you have your GameCube in another room, that's usually what happens. And you can see it took forever for it to show up. So we're going to go to BlueRetro HW2_GameCube and then update firmware. Now, if you're on a computer like we are doing it here, it only takes about 5 minutes for the update to complete. You can also do this on your phone through Android, and also if you're on Apple, you would have to use BlueFly, but that takes a lot longer for some reason, and it takes about 45 minutes to update. So your best bet is to try to update through your computer. And when it's done, we're going to set up our controller. All right, now that we got the BlueRetro up and running, let's show you how this works. Now I'm going to be using an Xbox Series X controller for this. And the reset button actually does a few different things depending on how long that you hold down the button. For example, if you hold it down between 0 and 3 seconds, it's a standard reset. Let it go. Oh, that's a, I guess that's a bug I have to report. But anyway, from from 4 to 6 seconds holding it down, 1, 2, 3, 4, it removes all the Bluetooth controllers that are currently connected. Now, for 7 to 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. When it blinks rapidly, it's in pairing mode. So that's how we're going to sync our Xbox controller to it. According to the instructions, we need to hold down the A button upon initialization to get the joysticks right, because this is supposedly how you fix the merging of the triggers to work. And if you hold it down more than 10 seconds, which generally you do not want to do, then it'll completely clear the BlueRetro of Bluetooth. Even the firmware, it'll go back to, if you've seen us updated earlier, it'll go back to 192. So now that we got this connected, oh, okay, so I go to gameplay and then I go back to the menu. All right. So there's a reason why my GameCube menu looks different than everyone else's, and I'll explain that in the Flippy Drive video, because that's part of the reason why I had such difficulty with the install. So now we're going to go down and select the game. And as you can see, the buttons work just fine. I don't have the tripod right now, so I can't show you it working, but it's also important to note the position of the buttons. Just think of a GameCube controller. So A is A, B is actually X because the X button is the side there. Y is actually the Y button, so these two are correct. But the X button is the B button, so these are actually swapped on the Xbox controller. This is your start. Your triggers are your L and R buttons, and the bumpers are Z. And this is the C stick, and the other one is the analog stick. So to get to progressive, we're gonna, that's right, we're on, normally for progressive scan, you would hold down B, press start, hold down B, but we're doing it through composite. So, in a nutshell, that is BlueRetro, and this video is already going to be outdated by the time I put it out, because there is a version 3 coming out. Just my luck. Just when I finally buy this thing, you know, I had the first version, and I buy version 2. Now version 3 is coming out. But apparently the only real difference is that this is going to be the last one with standard GameCube controller ports, because from here on forth, from version 3 up, it's going to be 3D printed GameCube ports. So we'll see how that happens. But it's time. We put the BlueRetro in, we put the fan in, we have the GameCube in. Now it's time for the Flippy Drive installation, for you guys to see my journey through it, because oh boy, it's going to be a doozy. And if you notice the press start screen, you can kind of figure out the reason why, if you are familiar with GameCube. So, until next week, Rachel Schaefer signing off.